All right, the highlights from GreatStockPicks.com on Tuesday, January 15th from our live trading chat room. This is what Arena Pharmaceuticals ARNA looked like when I posted the chart last night, talked about it in the pre-market this morning, and then I'll add today's candle, and you got a nice gap and run. Now, how did I call it in chat? Switch to 5-minute candles here. Okay, now keep in mind that daily chart I just showed you. Well, here's how it opens. It opens right here. Let me get an arrow going here. It opens right here. Runs up quickly, but look what happens. I mean, the first 5 minutes, it's boom, boom, and that's dangerous stuff. And then it goes ahead and, you know, the market can be kind of chaotic at the open. So now it calms down, puts in a couple lower highs. I went ahead and basically called it long. I said if it gets over this little high right here, my idea was a long entry right at that line there, 1034, if it gets there, okay? Worst case stop, 1020, so only 14 cents risk. And I'll add there's the trigger. Meanders for just a bit, then we're through the high of the day, and then this thing just plays out like we thought, just kept grinding higher, almost to 11. Beautiful move there. 1034 entry, 14 cents risk, went to 1095, and the daily still looks strong, but it's nice to know, you know, we caught a good portion of that move. Dell. Now, Dell was crazy strong yesterday, okay? So it kind of put it on our radar for today. I definitely didn't want to chase this, so how did I call it? Let me switch to 5-minute candles again. All right, here's what it looked like, you know, into the morning here, right? You had the open, you had a lower high, and then it just went into this grind. And if you ever want to, you know, rather than try to buy the break of a previous 5-minute high or something like that, where you might have bought it here and get stopped out here, when a stock meanders like this, but it's strong the day before and goes into a grind, I try to, what I call, just clean it up by using a longer time frame candle. So let me switch to 30-minute candles. Okay, and now I'm kind of zoomed in here using 30 minutes. So you just have stair steps, kind of takes that that nonsense out of it and gives you, the beauty of it, it gives you a crystal clear trigger and stop. I want to go long the first break of a previous 30-minute candles high. I went ahead and called this long. If it broke this candles high at 12.53, stop 12.43. So it's only a dime risk, 12.42, sorry, 11 cents risk. And there's the trigger. And look at that, we got that nice move. If I switch to 5s, you can see the magnitude of that move better. And remember, that puts our entry using 5-minute candles right about there. And so just we were never in trouble, and we got a real nice pop there. So Dell was another nice mover. Official numbers 12.53. It went 71 cents in our favor on 11 cents risk. BTU, I made 2 calls in today. I'll try to explain them both. BTU was on watch because, well, it had broken this trend line, but at the same time, it was already down 5 days in a row. So this kind of looks like a short to me, but you're probably due for a bounce at the same time, if that makes any sense. So you can see today, gap down and bounced and did okay. My first call is what I call a bounce play gap down strategy. We're already watching it as a bounce, and then switching to 5-minute candles here. This is what it looked like. So this is the opening 5-minute candle. When I have something on bounce watch and you get a gap down, which I really love, I like to go long the break of the 5-minute high and my stop below the 5-minute low. So I went ahead and called this as such, 24.49 with a low of day stop 24.31. And look what happens. In 5 minutes, we're up to 24.70. Now, because it's a trade in the first 5 or 10 minutes, I'm a seller into this spike. I don't sell at all because this could just keep running and running all day. We've all seen that happen. So I want to keep some in case that happens, and I want to sell some in case it doesn't. So we were selling in the 24.60s here. I mean, nice quick way to start the day. 10 minutes in, I'm nicely green. And when it came back to my entry, I was back out the rest, okay? But then it keeps grinding down, and I went ahead and called it long before this candle was complete. I called it long around 24.38. This candle wasn't complete yet. And the reason was the other calls were basically all hitting new highs for the day. So I said, you know what, we just have a laggard here in BTU. We did it in TSO the other day with refiners as well. Called it a 24.38 low of day stop, and we got a nice move through the high of the day and a move all the way to 24.93. So a good old 50-cent move or more in our favor on pretty narrow risk there. So that was it for the highlights. I also called TSO late in the day. TSO's been good to us lately. I simply called it at 43.05, which was right about there. I think the worst case stop, a dime below, and we got a late day move to the 43.40s. I called CTL as a bottoming play. you had what we call shape into the 200. That's one of our setups. If you connect the tops of the candles loosely, you see the shape there. Nice volume. Couple that with the daily chart. It was hitting the 200 day. So shape on 5s into the 200 day and go to 60s here. It was also at the bottom of a range, and so a good place to look for a bounce. You had this range here, and it was down here near the bottom of the range. So I showed that chart before it triggered and gave the numbers on CTL. 39.64 long idea. The stop was only 7 cents below and didn't get hit, so the entry was right about here. You know, and into the close it went to 39 and whatever, 39.79. Nothing to brag about, but it worked nonetheless. And then later in the day, SGEM was crazy strong. And when I saw it like this, back down here, I called it over this candle as a long, 29.35, stop below the previous candle. And we got to move all the way back to the high of the day, up over 29.85. So a good 50-cent move there. Also, and I believe that was all of my calls for the day. So pretty nice day. Won't babble any further, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.